There's this one topic that most of us spend our entire lives trying to avoid, and that's death. But what if that's the whole secret? What if facing it is actually the key to really living? That's the amazing idea at the heart of Alua Arthur's memoir, Briefly Perfectly Human, and we're going to dive right in. And really, that's the question that sits at the heart of all this. Let's just sit with it for a second. What if the secret to living fully is actually to think about death?
Okay, so how on earth does someone even get to a place where they're thinking like this? Well, to get it, you have to meet the woman who wrote the book. And her job title, well, it's pretty unique. Some people call her America's death doula.
So this is Alua Arthur. And believe it or not, her story doesn't start in a hospice or some quiet, reflective space. Nope, it starts in a courtroom. She was a lawyer. And that huge leap from the courtroom to, well, where she is now, that's really the core of this whole thing, right? So you're probably wondering, what in the world is a death doula? And yeah, the term might be new to you, but the idea behind it is, well, it's as old as humanity itself. Basically, it's a non-medical professional. They're there to give emotional, spiritual, and even practical support to people at the very end of their lives. A good way to think of it is like a guide or a companion for that last big journey. So, again, the big question, how does a lawyer just become a death doula? It's a wild career change, right? Well, for her, it all came down to one single trip, a major wake-up call that happened in Cuba.
If you looked at Alua's life on paper, you'd think she had it all figured out. She was this successful legal aid lawyer, doing really important work, helping people. A picture-perfect career.
But you know how it is. What you see on the outside isn't always the whole story. And for her, that success was hiding a really deep unhappiness. She's been open about struggling with depression, just feeling like something was missing, like her life didn't have a real purpose. And then she took a trip to Trinidad, Cuba, and this one trip, it would change literally everything. This was the turning point. Okay, so while she's in Cuba, these two huge things happen, almost back to back. First, a taxi almost plows into her. I mean, a real, sudden, terrifying brush with death. And then, right after that, she meets a fellow traveler named Jessica. And Jessica has terminal uterine cancer. But instead of being afraid, she's out there just living, trying to soak up every last drop of life she has left. That friendship, you can imagine, was like holding up a giant mirror to her own life. As Alua puts it, through her friendship with Jessica, Alua confronts her own mortality and realizes that she has been living a life devoid of authenticity. Wow, I mean, what a powerful and probably painful thing to realize. So that realization, that moment of clarity, is what put her on this whole new path to becoming a death doula. And once she started doing that work, she began to see something incredible. She saw that our bodies, they literally hold the evidence of the lives we've lived. She realized that the body tells a story. Think about that. As she's sitting with people in their final days and weeks, she's seeing that our bodies are like living, breathing memoirs. They physically hold on to our stories. Every laugh, every worry, every single habit we've ever had is kind of etched into us. And she shares a couple of really powerful examples of this. She talks about a client, Jonathan, who had lived a life full of skepticism and inquiry. And you could see it on his face, in his perpetually frowning brow. And then there was Elizabeth. Her life was one of joy and exuberance. And you could see that in the deep smile lines around her eyes. It's just amazing, right? Our lives literally shape us physically. Okay, so what is all of this teaching us? What's the big takeaway? Well, it brings us right to the main idea of the whole book, the powerful lessons we can actually learn from the end of life. Really, it all boils down to this one powerful sentence. Acknowledging our mortality can lead to a more profound appreciation of existence. And notice the words there. It's not about being afraid. It's just being aware. And that's a really important point to make. The goal here isn't to be all dark and morbid, not at all. It's about taking this one undeniable fact, that our time is limited, and using it. Using it like a key to unlock a better life, a more fulfilling, more authentic life that you can start living today. Okay, that sounds great in theory, right? But how do we actually do it? How do we take this big idea and apply it to our own day-to-day lives? Well, that's what we're going to get into right now, how to live a fuller life.
So the book gives us a pretty clear roadmap, and it's all based on what Alua learned. First, engage openly. That means actually having those conversations about what really matters to you. Next, confront your feelings. Don't push away the regrets or the dreams. Look at them. Third, choose authenticity. That means prioritizing the life you genuinely want, not the life society says you should want. And finally, find your courage. Let the fact that life is fragile be the very thing that inspires you to go out and build real, meaningful connections with people.
So let's wrap this up with the same powerful question that Alua Arthur's work really asks all of us. Just think about it for a second. If your life ended tomorrow, what story would you have lived?